Hi, you are watching SightsIn Plus and this is Romesh Vastu. Please to subscribe the channel for the HR news, for HR updates and conversation with the top non CHROs, thought leaders and business heads. Today we are going to dive deep the HR tech trends for 2025. And joining us two eminent HR leaders, Mr. Harjeet Khanduja is the Senior Vice President Human Resources at Reliance Geo, and Ms. Anita Bhatia is the Director People and Culture at Aristocrat India. Welcome to Sites Plus. Harjeet ji, first I would like to know what are the opening comment. What are your opening comment on how do you see the HR tech trend for 2025?
Look, I see a lot of movement in the HR technology in this year. So, what happened was when this GenAI actually came into existence, and especially ChatGPT when became popular. So, firstly, um, general public started using ChatGPT. When I'm saying general public, it is like individuals, especially students um, which is very relevant in the case of corporates. They picked up generational AI and they drove it like you are asking a question, asking a difficult question, they will put that question in the generational AI question and get the answer. So after that, corporates started thinking that how to deal with this. In fact, most of the corporates were um, not sure whether reliability of a generational AI tool is good, whether you can depend on a generational AI tool, and what will happen to the privacy of my data. What are the used cases in which I can use generational AI tools? I believe these used cases have been developed uh, in past few months, and you will see a lot of progress happening on these fronts, and organizations will start adopting these. So that is something which is going to be very exciting. A lot of products are coming in the market which are kind of products which are using generational AI, and and they have a very good UI UX. So the things which we used to fascinate in 2016 are going to be reality in 2025 as far as Gen AI is concerned. Apart from Gen AI, I believe there are a lot of other things which will which can create an impact. Um, so you can talk about, say, as basic as uh, time and attendance, the face recognition based time and attendance, which Digi Yatra uses. Um, you can see that happening at corporates. You can see development on the EX platforms. Another big thing which might happen in 2025, maybe towards the mid or towards the end. Uh, right now, we give computers to our people. Anyone who joins gets a laptop, and the cost of laptop is somewhere between, say, 40,000 to 1 lakh rupees, depending upon the capacity and the processor and everything. Um, with cloud computing, uh, and the way cloud computing is coming, you will see that most of the companies will ask people to use screens and they will do the entire computing work on their cloud computers. Many organizations have already started doing it. You will see that as a public trend uh, coming forward. And there is definitely going to be progress on AR VR side, which will impact the training space. And if government chooses to use blockchain, then it is going to rock the HR world like anything. Um, and they have started making those steps. If you see, it's a DigiLocker kind of a platform. Your background verification companies are going to go out of business with those kind of platforms. So that's what I see happening. And there are many more things which can happen in this space. Um, like just before this, Anita was talking about analytics. There are a lot of things which can happen. Uh, or even on the remote working side, there are companies which are working on how to make remote working more simple and um, what should I say, more secure. If that happens, like currently, the number which is hovering around, say, 28%, that number is definitely going to go up with the changes happening on the remote working platforms. And that's what my assessment is.
Right. Let me bring in also the Anita. Anita, what is your assessment? How do you see what are the technologies that we can see are shaping the HR in 2025?
So thanks for that question, Rumesh. Even before jumping on to technologies and Harjeet has already covered some of them. I'll start by saying that HR technology continues to be number one area of investment for the third year in a row, as reported by Gartner, as HR increasingly relies on technology to meet the growing list of business demands. And the business landscape is changing. We hear new technology being launched in the market every other day, transformation, economic downturn, all of this together. And people priorities matter more for organization success than ever before. I think even the CEOs have realized it, and aspects around talent retention, hiring, performance, diversity, inclusion are few of the priorities that show up in a CEO's OKRs as well. Now, again, hybrid working is another factor that has ensured technology touches every part and every aspect of employees' daily work life, including HR processes, even the mundane operational processes. Technology is quite there, out there. I mean, it's nothing new. Now, there is a very interesting term that's being used these days. It's called the human deal. For any technology to be successful in an organization, how it really impacts the employee value proposition, and it does it really make a difference to the end customer, which is employees, that defines the success of the technology. So with that, I'll maybe move to the three things that I thought could change in 2025. First is we already see HR virtual assistants, HR VAs as they're called in the market being implemented. A greater number of employees will be more willing to engage with conversational interface like we have Infido from Amber as a bot from Infido. Those kind of tools will come more and more in the market. Second is predictive analytics. I talked about it earlier, but how we are using advanced analytics, AI, to be able to predict the sentiment, to be able to predict attrition, to be able to predict the productivity. All of this, if companies are able to really combine it with their HRMS, make sense of the data, implement actions from the data, that will be the second thing. Third, blockchain will continue to revolutionize areas that are operational, like payroll, record keeping, background verification that we just spoke about, benefits tracking, all of it. I think we see it happening. It's nothing new, but it will continue to evolve and take us to the future.
Right. I think beautifully you have elaborated what are the technologies that will save the HR. But if I reverse the question, like what are the HR functions do you see, Harjeet, that will be in a trend and technology will support there? Then what the HR functions do you see that will be in trend?
HR functions go by what is happening in the business. So, like hiring is like a necessary evil which you are going to have. So, hiring is the favorite topic, and everyone is ready to invest on the hiring side because you want hiring faster, efficient, secure, and cost efficient. So, uh, you will see recruitment is one area where a lot of improvements are going to happen. Another area is employee health. And there is a lot of awareness on employee health. And this is one area where technology has actually reached the common man. People are using wearables. and people are conscious about how they are um, using those variables for measuring what is their heart condition and mm, what kind of uh, exercise they are doing. So um, that is something um, I don't know how to integrate. Um, uh, there are efforts which are going on in this direction, and a lot of organizations as well as employees are taking interest in health and wellness. So health and wellness is uh, another thing which is going to be important. Third is you will see employee engagement or employee experience. Now, organizations have started approaching it from the design thinking perspective that uh, for each and every how the design of that process is going to be and how we are going to create that experience and what that experience will translate into. Um, there are and there is a lot of development in making these experience insights actionable. So these are the three areas which I think um, are going to be prime areas uh, of investment as far as HR side is concerned. There will be something happening on training side also, AR, VR, but until unless we get a product like Chat GPT or something in the training space, um, mm, things look bit bleak there.
Right. So you
There
have
is,
highlighted three areas basically.
hmm,
That's the talent acquisition, employee health and wellness, and third is the employee experience. So Anita, if I
yeah.
come to you, and how do you see the uses of technologies, including the generative AI as well? How do you see in talent acquisition space?
Yeah, talent acquisition is a field of HR that started, that pioneered sort of use of technology. We started with shortlisting resumes using AI, all of that. It was a pioneer function. In the future, a lot can be done. We already discussed, like Harjeet already said. There are two aspects. I'll divide this answer into two blocks. One is how we leverage existing candidate information that already exists on the web or already exists with the organization. There are various touch points. We already have a lot of information. So how do we leverage that? That's one part of my answer. And the second part is the overall candidate experience and engagement that companies will be able to create leveraging technology better. Yeah, so going to how to leverage candidate information, I earlier touched on predictive analytics on hiring. Looking at data that we have, what kind of candidates interact better with an organization, who've been successful post hiring, retention, matrices combined to see what is the talent pipeline that works for us as an organization. So that's through predictive analytics. Second is DNI, inclusive hiring, tools that anonymize applications and still help us promote a particular diversity. It can be skill diversity, it can be qualification, it can be gender, it can be LGBT, it can be people with disability. All of it, there are multiple tools that can be leveraged to promote inclusivity. And third, that we most organizations use is AI-driven candidate screening. Now, screening is done, by bots, and that will continue to hold true. It will continue to make the whole recruitment process efficient. That's one part of the whole equation. The second is when you're hiring, touching base with a candidate, whether they are hired or no, you're creating a candidate experience. And there are chatbots for candidate engagement that are in the market today, automated chatbots that can provide 24 by 7 support, answer questions, guide candidates through application process. All of it will make a lot of sense the more it's used. Personalized candidate experience. Again, AI can tailor communication, recommended jobs, and provide real time updates to ensure a positive experience for candidates. The last bit is there will be human insight that will be important. So the final touch point, the final interview, cultural fit assessment, if it's human driven, that will continue to hold a lot of importance rather than AI taking over the entire or HR tech taking over the entire process. So yeah, that's my submission.
I want to add here, there is one space which is gig economy. So as of now, most of the traditional organizations hire in a traditional manner, and most of the softwares also which are available in the market are based on the traditional hiring model
Hmm.
or traditional engagement models. That is something which might get changed uh, as we move forward, because um, I have seen a few products coming in the market which help you uh, with hiring the way Swiggy hires, or the way the new generation platform organizations hire. And traditional organizations will be able to engage, say, part-time workforce or gig workforce using those platforms. So, moment that kind of talent workplace or talent marketplace happens, uh, it might revolutionize this entire space, and AI is going to be a big factor when we are actually working on this space. So, my two cents on this.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And just breaking the flow and coming back to the first question, as we are talking about some artificial intelligence part. So, we have seen 2022, maybe people are talking about the more about generative AI. They started talking about ChatGPT, and in 2023, still they're learning how to use the generative AI. In 2024, we have seen that companies have started the pilot project, how they adopt the generative AI in their functions, maybe HR, maybe finance, but different functions, how they can. Now, in 2025, I think there will be more flow, how they can use the generative AI. They know what are the pros and cons. As you also highlighted here, a couple of points like adaptability, how they adopt this. Reliability, that is a question mark. So how they can work on this so that better they can rely on ChatGPT responses, ChatGPT, and at another point, that is ethical. That is also a point. Do you see that in 2025 the more focus would be also by the technologies? There will be a lot of technologies which can help us to, adopt the generative AI, make it more reliable, make it more productive, kind of this.
So, if this question is for me,
Yeah, yeah.
let me tell you, look, AI looks very, would say, very attractive. But if you want to train a chatbot for a company, uh, it needs at least a million interactions, and I'm quoting a conservative figure, for a chatbot to train properly. So, are you doing million transactions, and how much time it will take to train a generative AI in the context in which you want to train? So, if individual companies try to do that, it will be very difficult for them, because you don't get this kind of a volume for properly training a chatbot. When somebody comes for marketing and says, okay, you ask this chatbot, what is your name? Thing is, when your employee is going to ask, employee is not going to ask those kind of questions. If you see your queries and you expect those answers from a chatbot, you will find it needs a lot of effort. So the use cases which get discussed and the actual use cases, there is difference. What I see, um, like with everything going on, there are few products which have come in the market, uh, like Anita was talking about dynamic JDs. Now, dynamic JDs has become a reality because of ChatGPT. And like because of similar kind of LLMs, I would say. CV enriching, like somebody submits a CV, you actually go and uh, check. This is a good practice also, that if somebody is applying, once I got reference of somebody, and I just went on Google and checked that guy's profile. So there was a murder case going on against that employee. We said, boss, what kind of people you are recommending? So CV enriching is another factor. Whatever is available in the public space, uh, based on that, you can actually enrich CV and see what people are, what more you can get on people. Another good thing which I saw was, again, I'm talking about generative AI only. Uh, you make a generative AI chatbot sit in your interview. Like we are talking right now, if a chatbot joins that meeting, the chatbot can actually hear the entire conversation and create a comprehensive summary of this conversation, that what we did discuss and what is the outcome of this meeting. Now, this is a very strong use case. Apart from anything or everything which is going on in recruitment, if you just implement this one piece, you will see the quality of hiring is going to change. And so it is not about what technology is there, it is about how we are using it. And look, each company might have a different use case. So some of the vendors will have to come forward, some of the partners will have to come forward and build the use cases which are applicable for most of the organizations. And those use cases will then only the organizations will be able to use those use cases. One thing we will have to understand, we cannot rely on the intelligence of artificial intelligence. We can use artificial intelligence to comprehend data, to bring things together, and see if in a conversation, what are the things we are missing and artificial intelligence is able to catch, so that our decision-making process is much more enhanced. And same is true for any other technology. You talk about blockchain, you talk about, um, say, remote working solutions or robotic automation or AR/VR. AR/VR has been there for ages. But thing is, cost of creating a AR/VR solution in training space is so much, and our businesses are so dynamic. Moment you create something, next month it becomes irrelevant, and cost of changing that is huge. And that is the reason the technology is not becoming that successful as it should have been with the kind of capability it has.
One more point on this one. I think you did touch upon ethics contributing here, and how do ethics and the whole ethical practices that employer should take play up. Now, privacy comes into play, and there are various laws around privacy. When Chat GPT, like Harjeet said, if there is a chatbot and it's this conversation, that like we're recording this conversation, and there is permission that the application takes from us. Similarly, there'll be laws and regulations around using ChatGPT here. And privacy safeguards are good. They need to be in place to ensure anonymized data collection, encryption, use of data in a way that does not interfere with people's privacy. Health data, for example, is very private to employees. Do they really want to share? Yes, for their own utilization. But do they want to share for a research? It has to be monitored by the organization who's the main employer, and by the organization who's collecting the data. And therefore, that's where we build trust and ensure data protection regulations are followed. At least where I come from, and every time we've used employees' data in any organization, there is a submission to the employee that your data is being retained for so many years, it's being used in so many ways, and only after their consent, as per the laws of the land, is how why data is used. So I think that is very, very important in all these application, all the technology discussion, compliance, data regulation rules should be followed, and that's what I would say to any organization who's on the journey.
Right, right. Another very important part, we all are talking about the predictive analytics. So this is about to learn the behavior, what are the patterns of the employee. That is definitely that is used also for the talent acquisition, also for the culture part, for retention, for employee engagement. Do you really think all the reports when we see employee engagement is getting down, maybe Gallup, maybe LinkedIn, everywhere we see. Do you think this kind of technology is going to help us to retain people, to engage more people? How do you see the use of predictive analytics in this year, 2025, with the better culture, with the better employee engagement, with the less attrition? How do you see this?
Everybody is talking about data assimilation, trying to make sense of the data. Whether it's, learning need evaluation, whether it's retention, there are bits and pieces and standalone modules that are being implemented. And absolutely, it's making a difference. So, for example, if you're talking about gamification in learning, social learning, use of AR, VR, it's all happening in the market. There are tools, there are micro learning modules that there are organizations are launching. People are able to access learning on their mobiles. These apps are able to align the learning with personalized learning paths and needs, skill gap, all of that. How does that then align? This aligns to performance management or talent management or retention is the big question. We can do analytics on people's engagement scores and say, okay, this population is engaged, men are engaged versus women are engaged by so much percent, or a section of employees by tenure is engaged versus another section. All of that is there, but how do you bring it all together from onboard recruitment to onboarding to learning need assessment to retention to performance management? I think that's the whole piece we're talking about. That is where I see challenge, and that's where a lot of organizations who've tried to adopt technology, they've failed in their first or second attempt to be able to really drive the employee value proposition for business to see value. That may not be happening for 100% of companies. There is just the abundance of technology. There is the complexity of having too many things in place, too many applications in place that we have. How do you optimize the whole equation is where I think it'll start making a lot of sense.
Yeah, yeah, right, right. Harjeet, what would be your response on this? And if you can also add, because we discussed
Mm.
employee well-being, burnout, these are also going to be the challenge for, we have seen a couple of cases 2024. So companies are working on this. They are trying that if they can, manage very well with the technology as well, how they can detect the employee burnout. Is there any alarm, anything? Can technology also help into this? How do you see the uses of predictive analysis, analytics here?
You can put I have seen companies putting chatbots in place where uh, it is not doing, it is not answering queries. It is doing a basic conversation. How are you feeling today? What happened? And when you, so what is important is when you get, say, data of all employees, so you get a score that today, say, 78% people are happy. And the devil lies in detail. So 78% people are happy or 98% people are happy. That is something which is not, which doesn't give you anything. Moment you start analyzing. So you were talking about LinkedIn or say other people who do your people management score or employee experience score. Moment you start comparing it across departments, across managers, across geographies, then you come to know what your problem areas are. And moment you know this is your problem area, then you can actually fix that. So if you see from a broader picture perspective, this much technology can do right now. It can capture experience of people, and like I have seen a use case where somebody is saying, I am sad, I am sad, I am sad, I am sad. And on the fifth day, the person committed suicide. So these are indicators. Now, if you don't act on indicators, that is something which is a failure. But these indicators are real, and many companies are finding these useful. At least talk to those people who are feeling sad, say continuously for 3 or 5 days. Then you don't know what you can prevent. And if it is prevented, you will never be able to show it or showcase it anywhere, because you don't even know that what was going to happen in the future. But this is definitely a value add to the organizations, and many organizations are able to uh, say find uh, real problems uh, in the pockets, uh, and are able to fix those problems because of technology.
Any of you final comment, Anita?
Technology can be a bane or a boon. It's about how you want to leverage it. Like Harjeet rightly said, technology can give you a lot of information. If you don't end up using that information, channelizing it in the right way, then it's not worth the investment that we are doing in technology. But I'm very positive about the roadmap technology creates for us, at least in the healthcare space. The organizations that are in the employee well-being space, they are doing a good job. EAP can be outsourced, consultation can be outsourced, health apps are on our fingertips. All of it is getting consolidated to create the right experience, and hopefully that will take us to a future which is healthier, brighter, happier, with employees sort of coming out of their techno stress that they are in today. Hopefully we are able to leverage technology more and more in 2025.
So, like HR, the HR technology is also evolving. We can see a lot of new software as well in 2025 as well. Maybe with the support of these current technologies, or maybe the new technology as well. There. Thank you so much, Mr. Harjeet and Anita, for joining the conversation and sharing your wonderful thoughts. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you for having us here.
Yeah. Thanks, Ramesh.